my lady friend. Got a minute? Welcome to the Women's Spotlight, Her Light, Her Story, a space where we celebrate women leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives who are showing up each and every day with courage, purpose, and authenticity. I'm your host, Tiffany, and in each episode, we shine a light on her story, the real journey behind the titles, the challenges, and the victories. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to Felicia Sullivan. She is the owner of On the Bright Side LLC. In our conversation, we're going to talk a little bit about her life story, her purpose, and how she shines light on that purpose. So grab your coffee or your favorite drink, settle in, and let's step into the spotlight together with Felicia Sullivan. So, how are you today, Felicia? We're so glad to have
Hey,
you here with us.
yes, thank you for having me. I'm good. If I'm a little pink, I just got back in from the beach. We're on spring break vacation right now. So
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for taking time away from your beach life right now
it's
to
okay.
talk
I
to us.
needed
I
it.
know that
I
you're
was
you're
getting hurt.
excited.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am
Oh, you look
excited.
very pretty, so that it agrees with you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, let's talk a little bit about you just sharing with our audience a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Felicia. I'm 36 years old. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a business owner. I work multiple jobs actually. I do home health physical therapy for full time, and then I started on the bright side about a year ago, and it's just been growing ever since, and I love it.
We're great. Can you share a little bit about what On the Bright Side is?
Yes. So on the bright side is kind of like a community. It's evolved into a community service. So it initially started with me writing a weekly newsletter that I would send out to local subscribers to Shreveport Bossier City, and it was just a way for me to get the good news about Shreveport Bossier out and try my best to try to overshadow some of the bad, the negative that we get all the time.
Mhm.
It's just overwhelming to get it just constantly over and over again. So the heart behind On the Bright Side's initial newsletter was to highlight different small businesses, nonprofits, good things happening locally, local events, live music, all the fun stuff, ways for you to get involved. I do volunteer events in each one and just kind of shine the good light onto Shreveport Bossier. So
Well, we thank you for that because I agree with you. I love Shreveport Bossier, born and raised here, and I
hmm
agree with you. We do need to have the good light shown on us as well. So thank you for that.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
as part of the job that you do, I know you stated that you had several roles, and as women, we normally do. What is the story that you want to share with us that kind of talks a little bit about what has shaped you into Felicia today?
Okay. Well, growing up, it was a slightly dysfunctional childhood, but uh, one thing that we did get right was I stayed in church. Our families, we grew up in church, and so deeply rooted in faith and God, and but that still didn't just stop the dysfunction. It kind of rolled over into young adulthood, early 20s. And a lot of things changed for me whenever I ended up having my daughter. I had her at 25, and I was living in Dallas at the time, and I didn't have family that lived there. And I was in restaurant industry for about 15 years, and then decided to move back home to Shreveport Bossier to go back to school to change my career to physical therapy. So that's what I've been doing for 4 years. And then, like I said, last year I started on the bright side just to kind of give a little bit extra to the community. Um, I enjoy being involved with a lot of different things, and so this was a good way for me to try to try to draw in more people to get involved as well.
Well, I've had a chance to, of course, review it. I've been featured in it. I
hmm
think it was in December, and it is a very nice, pleasant um, piece that is shared with our community. So I want to personally
Thank
thank
you.
you for doing that for us. And I love how it's named On the Bright Side.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So when you are, whether you're at work as a physical therapist, being a leader in that capacity, or a capacity of being a leader in your small business, when things get a little bit tough, and I know that that happens, life can be that way. It's wonderful, but it can also have its challenges. What inspires you to keep showing up to do this work, even on the hard days?
Um, well, forever, my daughter will be my motivation with everything I do. I feel like I was blessed with, well, I was blessed with the extreme, wonderful responsibility to raise up a daughter of God, and I take that role very, very seriously. So, yes, everything I do, if it will negatively impact her or others around her, it's not for me.
Mhm.
So, on the days where we get the bad news stories and it just feels like every time you pick your phone up, it's just something different, even in those days, it does get discouraging because it's like, gosh, like I'm trying so hard and I want it to be just good. And we all know that that can't happen. But I just remember that we create the environment that we grow, or that we raise our kids in. And I always try to make sure that that is her safe space, and it can't be her safe space if I don't create that. That's my role. That's my responsibility. And I think that that is a good metaphor, I guess, that we can use for how we build our communities as well. We
Mhm.
can't live in a healthy place unless we cultivate it in that way. And so it doesn't just
Beautiful.
happen. That's
Mhm.
something that we all have to be actively involved in.
Right.
And, raising good children don't just happen. That there's processes and there's sacrifices. And so just trying to focus in on what we do have that is positive, and encouraging other people to join in is the biggest motivation.
Mhm. And as you were talking, I was thinking about, I said, that's so sweet to say, but it's very intentional that, your daughter is your motivation. And then I'm sure as she's growing up, where she's seeing it, and then when she gets older, that you are her motivation. So that's so great to hear you. Oh,
Fingers
that's
crossed.
so good. That's so great to hear that you're not only giving back to the community, and you wanted this to be something that your daughter could, she might be able to carry it on with for you, but something that she could see that was positive for the community if she's, if she's going to grow and stay here, or even if she goes somewhere else, she'll have this legacy that you have set for her that
Hmm.
she can remember that by. And so again, it's a great endeavor, I believe, that you're going into doing this, and I know it's growing. So,
Hmm.
and I'm excited. I am on the email list, so I get a chance to see the beautiful newsletter each month.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, we're going to shift just a bit and talk a little bit about self care, because we cannot do the job that God puts us here to do, or whatever our purpose is, if we don't take care of ourselves. So,
Yes, ma'am.
self care looks different for every woman. What
Hmm.
does it look like for you in real life, and not the Pinterest version?
Hmm. Self-care is an exceptionally large area of opportunity for me. It takes a lot for me to slow down. And that is another thing I have to be very intentional about.
Mhm.
Um, yes, it does get very overwhelming. I do pray a lot. I drive a lot doing home health physical therapy. So there is, like, those moments in between each patient that I get to just kind of either choose to drive in silence, and that's typically prayer time for me. I'll put on YouTube videos if I feel like absorbing more information. If I'm feeling just overstimulated, I'll just go somewhere by myself. I'll sit in my car by my like
Mhm.
anything that involves nothing. Just silence.
Mhm.
Um, if if I am extremely overwhelmed and there's just things, thoughts, just everything, what helps me the most is sitting and writing, like my little notebook. This is my favorite thing in the
Oh,
world. I
wonderful.
will sit
Okay.
and just write, and I'll even put like check boxes, just organize my thoughts, and just making sure that, okay, this is what this looks like for you right now. So
Okay.
how can we just tackle it one by one. Don't think about the next one, just piece by piece. And then that typically helps me like chill out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a lot sometimes, but
Well, hey, we all can be, it's all right. It's all right.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's great that you take the time to reflect, though, because we are just busy in life. You don't sometimes mean to be so busy, but you get caught up in it. I mean, it's just things are
Mhm.
happening. And I'm really glad to hear that you all are on vacation for your spring break. So I'm
Yes,
sure that that
it
is
was
really
much
some
needed.
night, huh?
It was much needed.
Yes, I'm sure that's part of your self-care as well.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I've been
But
in the
y'all,
sun all day throwing footballs with my daughters. That's good.
oh, okay. I was gonna say, at least it's something that you can get up and don't have to. Not that you, because I know that you're wanting to see your patients, and I'm sure you're a very wonderful therapist with them. But there is a time that we just need to sometimes take a break from what
Yes.
we do every day, just to take a little bit of time for ourselves, and that's nothing wrong with that because it makes us better at the job
Mhm.
that we do each and every day. So thank you
Yes,
again
ma'am.
for sharing that with us.
Yes.
So what helps you reset when you feel like you're running on empty? Because our
Mhm.
gas tanks get low a lot. And so what
Oh
do you
yeah.
do to try to help yourself reset?
If the silence doesn't work, if the to-do list doesn't work, I definitely I talk to my closest people. And my daughters are really she's my daughter, and there's a good relationship with mother daughter, but she's
Mhm.
also a good friend too sometimes. So her, my best friends, my brothers, my family, we very very close with a lot of people in my inner circle, and so anytime that I just need to just kind of spill my guts and release. I definitely can call any of them, and they just listen, just so graciously, and
Mhm.
no judgment. And so
Mhm.
typically after I hang up the phone, I do feel a little bit better. I feel less heavy. So just having my inner circle of people there, that's always really helpful. I do, like I said earlier, I do watch occasional YouTube videos. And so whenever I feel a little down or just, I don't know, just anything, I Google exactly what I'm feeling. And I find a good YouTube channel that just speaks to me in that day. And it can be about parenting one day, it could be about relationships one day, any of it. And I just try to find wisdom where I can't pull out of myself in that moment. So any spiritual guidance is always, it gets me back on track.
Well, thank you for saying that. You said a lot in that. I wrote down even about the inner circle. It's wonderful that you even have that inner circle that you
Yes.
can trust people to talk to them, and they're there to kind of help balance you back because we all need that. So again, thank you for sharing that with us. So,
Yes, ma'am.
as we know, we've talked a little bit about the challenges that life can throw at us, and we're going to embark on it at some point. It's going to be in some season. So, can you
Mhm.
share a time when you had to rise back up from a challenge, and then what anchored you in that season?
Oh gosh. There's so many challenges. Um, uh, I know, well, like a big step was becoming a mom. That
Mhm.
was something that I wasn't planning on doing. It terrified me, the thought of it, because I wasn't in a good place to do that. Um, but again, understanding the responsibility of what that meant, of we're I'm trying to raise this good person
Mhm.
that loves Christ and is kind and is not, and all these things, and I'm not in the right spot. And so there was a lot of internal conflict that I had back then. But once I kind of got a grasp on where my direction was going to go, and I took the concrete steps, because you can talk about it all you want to, but until the actions follow,
Mhm.
um, it's just talk.
Mhm.
So once I started with the concrete steps, I saw the light and I was able to continue to go towards it. And it would throw me back, and then I would just have to continue to push forward. Took a while, but in the end, it's definitely worth it. She's a great kid, and I'm not a bad mom, so like
Of
I feel
course
like I
not.
do okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, that was the biggest. That was a 360 from, or I guess a 180. I didn't turn all the way around. A 180 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was transitioning from basically a child to having a child, raising a child, and what that looked like on a practical level,
Mm-hmm.
going back to school, changing career paths, and then making sure that it was all done in a faith-based environment for her, and and just protecting her innocence at all costs. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
Wow.
yeah, biggest challenge was that for sure. And the faith was my biggest anchor, the heaviest anchor.
Oh, well, I love that you said your faith. Yes, and it
Yes,
is a
ma'am.
challenge. I don't think of even some, and I'm not saying your circumstances were the best of circumstances. I'm not saying that, but even in the best of circumstances, it's a challenging role.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I love how you took it so seriously to know that
Hmm.
I'm responsible for, not just myself anymore. I'm responsible for this little human, and
Hmm.
so I'm sure that she thanks God every day that she has a mom like you. So I can just pick up your spirit. So thank you so much for for sharing that with us. So as we shift just a bit, I'm thinking about the woman who might be in a similar situation in some of the life experiences that she might have gone through. And if you were to speak with that woman, maybe what advice would you give to her if she feels like her light is being dimmed in some way, whether it's something in her relationships or something in her workplace or something even within herself?
Well, you know, your value was not created lightly.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and you are probably a lot stronger than you think. Um, you're probably much more resilient than you
Mm-hmm.
believe, and women to the core, there is a desperate need for what women offer, the nurturing, the empathy, the sympathy, the everything that we bring to the table, that is unique and special to us and what we excel at just naturally. Um, that's needed. And
Mm-hmm.
things are going to hit you in the face left and right. It hurts sometimes, but it's all so worth it if you see it for what it is and understand that your value is higher than the hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, like you were created to serve others, and
Mm-hmm.
we're so good at doing that as women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's a great book. I don't obviously get paid to say this, but Lisa Bevere wrote a book called Nurture,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an amazing book if you're a woman and you're trying to find your purpose and you don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's a great book.
What did you say the author's name was again?
Lisa Bevere,
Oh, yes. Okay.
Bevere.
I've heard that. But
Yes,
yeah, now that I've, okay. Well, thank you for that. Yes. Well,
yeah, great
I
book.
maybe want to, I have so many books
I
and some
know.
that I've started and not finished, but I think any great book, and sometimes I've even heard people say now, like the self-care, sometimes we're wanting to think more about how we can do this on our own and the self-care shouldn't just be if you're a faith believer, it should be thinking about that goes along with what God leads us to. We do this in combination with him, and because of the fact that I know that she's a faith believer, I'm certain that that book probably does bring up a lot of faith-based
Oh yes.
practices as well.
Yes, I've
Mhm.
read it. I've read it multiple times. I've had it since I was like 18 years old. I'm
Mm.
36 now, and I've read it probably 5 or 6 times. But each time you read it, there's a different message that speaks to you because you're in a different season.
Season,
And
yep.
so it's just a great, it's like reading a different book every time. It's
Wow.
good.
Well, thank you
That's
for
good.
sharing that.
Yeah.
So, as we start to wrap up, my next question, or my last question actually, is if you had to tell the younger Felicia something, one thing, what would it be?
Um, I would say don't undervalue who you are because of where you come from.
Okay.
It's God's plans are bigger and stronger and more impactful than you could even like conjure up in your
Mm-hmm.
brain. Yeah, you're worthy. You're worthy of more
Mm-hmm.
and take that more seriously.
Okay, well, that's a beautiful way to end our session today. I do want to ask, I know I said it was my last question, but this is actually the
Okay.
last one. How can women connect with you if they're interested in maybe seeing the newsletter or being able to be featured in it?
Okay. So I do have a Facebook and Instagram page. Both of them are on the bright side dash SBC. Um, Let me think of a different one. So my newsletter link is on both of those pages. Um, you
And
can email me.
I will make sure I put it in the description too.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then 318-250-6363. That is my phone number. Anything. If it's about the newsletter or if I said something that they have a question of anything,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very open and I'm pretty transparent and honest. So I'm here.
Well, we thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank
And
you
for
for letting
everyone
me.
else being able to join us in the audience on the Women's Spotlight, Her Light and Her Story. And I hope today's conversation with Felicia Sullivan inspires you to keep shining your light and walking confidently in your own story. So if you love this episode, be sure that you subscribe, share it with a friend, and join me next time as we continue to celebrate the incredible journeys of women like you. So until then, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep shining. And see you next time, my lady friend. And thank you again, Felicia.
Thank you, Tiffany.